is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Let's go, baby.
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break.
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Thursday, September 26, 2019, Season 15, Episode number 52. Welcome to another edition of The Break. We're live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're going to talk some Cowboys and Saints. We're getting you guys ready for the Sunday night football game this week. Today we'll get into the defense. Yesterday we talked about the Saints offense. Dave will have a breakdown for us. Before we get into that, though, I do want to talk about an injury that popped up yesterday that makes me a little bit nervous. Talk to me about Amari Cooper. What's going on with him?
Amari Cooper came out of the Dolphins game with a dinged-up ankle foot thing.
Is it a
Quote
different
Jason Garrett.
foot?
It is a
than
different
the
foot.
Okay, so now he's got 2 feet.
He got an MRI on it yesterday. That was negative, which is positive. That's always confusing for people, but
Yeah.
negative is good. We saw him yesterday after the MRI, and he wasn't limping or anything. Again, they have one here. It makes sense to get that type of stuff done. But he was at practice today. So, all these guys are dealing with something, but it doesn't look like something that's going to keep him out of the game.
So he was at practice today.
He was at practice
so
today.
it will be at least some limited work, I would
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Now ask me about the other one.
Yeah, that one. Wasn't
That's
the
old.
biggest one.
That's old news. We got new news
when did this one happen?
today.
Okay, so tell me what happened
Zach
today.
Martin's not at practice.
Oh my goodness.
So, this just happened. Me and Nick walked out of practice and walked into the studio, so we haven't had a chance to look into it too much.
Now, Cowboys officials will say, well, he was on yesterday's injury report, but the fact that he's not there this morning, in the morning part that we just saw now, does he come in and do some stuff later? We'll see.
Yeah, that's what we need to
Literally.
really find out there.
He was.
He was limited yesterday, right?
He was
limited.
He was limited with a back. So here's the thing. And
Right.
they upgraded him to full last week,
Right.
which is the first time that's happened since the season started. But as we've talked about a million times, playing offensive line probably isn't great for your back, especially if it's already hurt. So we said it at training camp, this is probably something that Zach Martin's going to be dealing with for the entire season.
Right, and I just took it for granted when I saw that yesterday that, okay, well, yeah, of course he's limited with a back. He's going to be limited with a back all year. But it does take a whole different level of, significance when he's not at practice.
We don't know the difference between – we just haven't had enough time to look into it. We don't know the difference between sit down today and let that thing cool off a little bit or – I can't go. Those are two different things, and I don't know what it is right now. I always lean toward thinking a guy like Zach Martin's going to be available, but it's definitely, it catches literally today in the, we sit in the stands in Ford Center for practice, and all the beat writers were looking around do you see 70? Where 70's not here? He's not even just walking around in a jersey. He's not here at all. So definitely caught some eyebrows. It's something to keep an eye on.
Walk me through what happens in the event. Do you have an X that you're trying to – what are we doing?
I just answered your question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Walk me through what happens in the event that Zach can't play.
Well, the Cowboys would turn to Xavier Woods.
There we go.
And he would start
Who
there.
were you mimicking right there? Just out of curiosity.
Just
He was
probably
throwing
the
up
way
an
I'm going to
X.
sound in about 20 years.
Oh, okay, cool.
Just some old white guy that I am.
Okay.
I guess I just
R or will be?
huh
R or will be?
both.
Turning.
Okay.
It's at a turning point right
Quickly
now.
turning?
Yeah.
Xavier Suafilo did take the reps at right guard with the first team in Zach's absence. So
I just think Joe Looney is just your perfect backup for, just center guard, anything that happens on game day. But when it comes to
Did
just
you like
playing guard,
when we saw him playing guard?
Suafilo?
Looney.
Yeah.
When was that? Maybe preseason or a training camp or something. I know we've seen them put him at that position at guard. I don't quite remember how he performed there or how that looked like. But do you remember if he looked okay, good enough?
Yeah, I don't ever remember a time when Looney really hasn't looked good, or looked okay, I guess. He doesn't. He's not like just gonna blow you away. But he's good enough.
But you think better than Su'a-Filo?
I think Su'a-Filo's better because I think he's got that old man strength, even though he's not old. I just think he's got that strength that's. I think he may be better than Connor, honestly. But they didn't draft him in the second round, so he was better last year. But of course, Connor was a rookie.
Yeah, right.
But I think that's a really good back.
He
Now,
has that strength, but he's also he's constantly dealing with things on his knees, both knees. That is Su'a-Filo. Yeah, and that is something that he's been battling since last year. And I know that weights on him, and he's been working on it with his strength coach and stuff. But it's something to look at, too, while he might be able to play a full game and all that. It's not necessarily a long-term replacement that he could hold up maybe 2 games in a row, 3 games type of stuff.
I don't know if there's a position in football that beats the hell out of you more than anything on the offensive line. Yeah, it's just brutal.
Because you're constantly catching. Like you're
even
constantly. It's just
even running backs. Like you get hit pretty much every time you touch the ball, but you don't touch the ball every snap of the game. Offensive linemen, every play except maybe the victory formation, you're getting.
Yeah. And someone's coming to hit you every play. Like they're coming to hit you every single play.
Yeah, I would be worried if he's listed as did not practice today, then I think that's kind of a concern. If he's listed as limited, then I wouldn't be as concerned because we're dealing with the back. So if he's really having a lot of pain, it's better to just sit him out. Because if you have a back, you can hurt that picking up, piece of paper. So I just feel like if they really wanted to rest him, they would just rest him. He'd be at home. But if he's limited, then I think they're just trying to manage it.
I will say, though, typically, when a guy takes a scheduled day off, it's Wednesday or Friday. Because it's either the first day of the week and you're like, sit this out and then get 2 days of practice, or get 2 days of practice and then rest your legs on Friday. Like they've done that with Sean Lee this season, where he just doesn't go on Friday. It's not injury related. They just let him sit. Mm-hmm. It feels weird to me for him to sit in between Wednesday and Friday. So we'll see.
And let's be clear too. You guys were only out there during the opening parts of practice.
Yeah.
It's very possible that he was getting some treatment or something like that, and then came out and was a part of practice in the part that the media doesn't see.
Keep it tuned to DallasCowboys.com media channels, because we'll get some info about this later today and tomorrow, and it's something to watch.
You guys have
yesterday.
Something get work.
I can't
Zach,
remember.
I saw him in the locker room yesterday, and I remember kind of thinking he looks stiff, just kind of he looks like he's felt better in his life, which I say that now that I know that he's hurt. But I do really remember he came out of the shower area, and I was like, you, as somebody who's experienced back pain, you look like you're feeling kind of stiff right now. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. A couple other guys I just wanted to mention real fast. Xavier Woods, Tavon Austin returned to practice yesterday. What are we hearing about them and how they performed and look after a day of practice?
I was at practice for a little bit and was, I guess, just looking around at whatever. I should probably look at some injured guys here. Who am I looking for? And I looked right at Xavier Woods. There he is. And he was catching this interception, and then he was doing some spinning and
he was dancing.
And he wasn't dancing, but he was doing a spin, juke move, like you would do the R2 button. He just kept spinning and spinning and spinning. I'm like, okay, he's playing.
You saw that DeMarcus Lawrence video.
Which video?
I don't know that video.
DeMarcus doing the spin and then everybody was talking about it, and maybe he got inspired. Now he's trying to spin all.
He was doing something like that, and I was just like, okay, Woods is playing. Xavier's in. He's in. Who else did you ask about?
That's the kiss of death, though, because last year you said that about Tavon, and what happened? Oof. Tavon kept sitting out and just dancing every week, and still couldn't play.
Yeah, but I think Xavier. I think Xavier's going to play.
You were trying to think. You were thinking very carefully what you wanted to say.
I think Xavier's going to play.
2 straight days of practice for Tavon and Xavier. That's always a good sign. No Tyrone Crawford today. No Antoine Woods. I don't think you're going to see them this weekend.
Right.
You're not going to see Michael Gallup this weekend.
Those are 3, I guess, at this point, the injuries that you just say, and it's pretty likely they're not playing this week. Only 3, right?
There was somebody else that I wanted to bring up. Maybe
Tavon. No.
I guess that's it.
Those 3.
Yeah, Woods and Crawford. That's it. Yeah,
because Gifford's back practicing now, so he would not be one of them. Maybe he won't be active, but at least he should be back.
It didn't look like he was going to be active, just based off of a special teams unit that he would probably be out there for if he was.
Yeah.
So I don't think he will be this week.
All right, let's go ahead and take an early break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Saints and their defense. Dave's going to give us his breakdown. We'll talk about that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
The excitement of Dallas Cowboys football is back at AT&T Stadium.
The place is going crazy in Arlington, Texas.
Don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live when they host their NFC East rivals, the Eagles, Giants, and Redskins, plus the Green Bay Packers and more.
Elliott works his way through and walks the dog.
Single game tickets are on sale now. Get them before they're gone.
First and goal, quarterback sneak. Prescott pushes up the middle. Touchdown.
Visit DallasCowboys.com to get your tickets today.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Let's jump right in. Let's get into this Saints defense. Dave.
Saints fans coming by on this tour.
No, those are Cowboys jerseys. They're just the camo.
That was a salute to service jersey.
I thought for sure I saw Saints. Was I wrong?
No, it was Cowboys.
Jason Whitney.
I had the same reaction earlier this week. I saw somebody walking in the parking lot, a fan, and they had on a jersey. It was one of those, and I thought, Saints, really? And then, no, it's Cowboys.
They'll take your money. I mean, whatever. Here's the Redskins jersey.
Oh yeah, come on in.
It happens every day.
No, there were some, believe it or not, there were some Dolphins fans taking the tour last Friday. So
believe it or not that
there are Dolphins fans.
There are fans?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Dave, what you got for us? Let's talk about this Saints defense.
I got the New Orleans Saints in front of me. Lot of talent. Not a lot of production to this point in the season.
You can say that again.
Can I just jump in and say something real quick?
Do it.
They got the best names in all of the whole NFL.
Do they?
Well, starting with Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan.
Jordan.
No, it's not Lil Jordan. It's Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan.
We're talking
it's Lil Jordan.
Offense now.
I know, but I'm just their defense though. Ray Armstrong.
Yeah.
Ray.
Shy
Doesn't
Tuttle.
start.
Lil Jordan and Ray.
Eli Apple, and then of course Kiko Alonso.
Yeah, that's
better known as Kiko Alonso.
Yeah. Been around.
All
right. Moved around a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right, Dave.
Give us his defense. Pat's willing.
It's and I think he's still a good player, but the thing about the Saints' defensive resurgence, I guess it was 2017 when they lost the Minnesota Miracle game, was how well their young DBs were playing. Marshawn Lattimore's this lockdown corner. Marcus Williams is a revelation at safety. Von Bell is another guy that they drafted that they really like. And they were ballers. They were really good that year. Marshawn Lattimore had the butt interception, if you remember that, where he picked the ball up off the guy's butt. Mm-hmm. And it's not translating. It's not there so far this year. Case in point, they gave up 5 passes of 20 yards or more and 3 of 40 yards or more to the Seahawks the other week.
They're the worst in the league at that stat. And, by the way, same thing with the rushing. They gave up 20-plus. Yeah. They've given up 5 20-plus rushes, and that's the worst in the league.
Okay, so they're 28th in total defense. They're 30th against the pass, 300 yards a game. They're 26th against the run. They're 26 points, 27 points per game. Every single team they've played, actually, they've given up like exactly 27 across the board because I think they beat the Texans like 30 to 28, I think. Mm-hmm. Rams beat them 27-9, and then 33-27 Seahawks. So, like, you can score on them. Dennis Allen, it seems like he asks these guys to play a lot of man defense, which is awesome if you can do it. They haven't been able to do it. And it's really come everywhere. Like, Lattimore gave up a couple of explosives. David Moore caught a jump ball on him last week. Eli Apple's the obvious one that, like, you want to pick on. Like, he gets torched on a pretty routine basis. And one thing that was really intriguing to me is that a lot of these plays happened when Russell Wilson, shocker of shockers, was able to extend the play. Which, if you watch the Cowboys, like, Dak's not as good at that as Russell Wilson is, but he can definitely do it. He did it last week against the Dolphins a few times. So that is really encouraging if the Saints are going to try to play man up with these guys, that I think you can manufacture some plays. And another really exciting thing is they lose track of guys. Like, the Seahawks will put their receivers in a bunch, and Tyler Lockett is just running across the formation, and there's crossing routes, and all of a sudden, like, the corner, Eli Apple's 5 yards behind him, like, where was my help? Is this my guy? And 45-yard gain, that type of stuff. So I think Kellen Moore should be able to manufacture some gains in this thing. I don't think they look terrible against the run itself. Like, the Seahawks ran for 100 yards, but 50 of that was Russell Wilson scrambling or designed runs, which Dak can do that too. Yeah, right. Maybe there's something to be said, but like Chris Carson and CJ Prosise didn't like kill them. Like, they have good players in their front seven. Cam Jordan, I think I already said, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league. He reminds me a lot of DeMarcus Lawrence, just in the sense of being super well-rounded. He can rush the passer. He's stout against the run. Marcus Davenport's coming along.
Leads their team in sacks.
Yeah. I mean, which they're not getting to the quarterback, as again, a lot like Dallas. Your guy Malcolm Brown is playing tackle for them right now because Sheldon Rankins is hurt. Like, they have talent there. Demario Davis, really good will linebacker, captain for them. So I don't think they're soft. I think they're better than the stats indicate they are. Put it that way.
Because the stats say, as I started looking at the stats, I was like, wow, this defense is not playing very well at all.
You gotta look at the other games too. The Texans ran the ball really well on them, but again, they have a super mobile quarterback in Deshaun Watson who can inflate that, and Dak can too.
Yeah,
Cowboys would have to implement that though. We've seen them do it. We've seen them not do it. But in turn, like, I would be surprised if Zeke just bulldozes this defense all on his own. Like, I don't know that that's going to work, but they're very susceptible against the pass.
Yep. I had a couple questions for you. Eli Apple, he seems to be the weak link I keep hearing everybody talk about in their secondary. If you agree with that, how does Dallas take advantage of that?
I think Dallas takes advantage of that by make the Saints change it, because as good as they might want Marshawn Lattimore to be, he doesn't travel a lot. I'm starting to think that, like, every week it's like, is he going to travel? Is he going to... Like, it doesn't seem like it happens that often in the NFL, honestly. Like, maybe in college, if you have that guy and he can just take away that receiver, do it. But you don't see it a lot in the NFL. And Lattimore hasn't done it. He plays on the right side with very little exceptions. Actually, against Seattle, they had him travel with Lockett on a third down, and Seattle tried to throw it to him to pick up the first, and Lattimore came across the formation and tackled him in the backfield. And I was like, maybe you should be doing this more often. But they don't. So put the good receivers on Eli Apple. Say, all right, Lattimore's over on the right. Well, Amari, we want you over on the left, because I would force Dennis Allen to try to make that happen, because it doesn't seem like they want to do it.
And, last week with Xavier Howard, who is probably better than Lattimore, or at least, right up there. And it didn't seem to matter. Cooper kind of exposed him as well. So, I don't know if there's any corners right now that are really just checking Amari. We'll see what his injury status is. But we always say this about guys that travel. It's not just the corner. It's not just the great cornerback that travels. It's the other cornerback that has to travel as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the star guy might go. He might be good on the right or the left, but your second corner may not be as good playing both sides, and he has to travel as well. So I think that's something it helps if you've got two that can be versatile.
I really wish Michael Gallup was healthy for this game because I think the combination of Lattimore and the fact that the guys behind Cooper aren't as good, like, it gives me pause. I think the Cowboys will be all right, but like, if Gallup was playing in this game, I would be like, the Cowboys are going to eat, like, because they can do whatever they want with Cooper. Gallup will abuse whoever is over there, and I'm not as confident in Devin Smith and Randall Cobb. I think they'll be okay, but like, it would be nice if Gallup was playing.
Take me back to last year and talk to me about when the Cowboys played the Saints. What did you see in the Cowboys' offensive line versus the Saints' defensive front?
It was a struggle. I mean, the Saints' defense did a really nice job. If I remember, they bottled up Zeke pretty nicely. I don't remember him having just 30 yards. I would imagine it was like 70, 80 maybe.
He had a hard-fought – I'm pulling it up for you. He had a hard-fought 75 yards. He averaged 3.3 yards per carry.
That's not anywhere near his typical day.
But they kept doing it, and we always say those games kind of take on a life of their own, and both offenses were struggling, and it was just that type of game. This might be completely opposite of that, but they did a nice job. But if I remember, Tyron Smith, he matters.
He wasn't in that game.
He didn't play that game. So.
And Travis obviously didn't play, which we got to wait and see on Zach, but you would think the O-line will be closer to full strength than it was last year.
Who was the defensive player that seemed to give them the most trouble, if you guys remember?
Cam Jordan had 2 sacks and 2.5 tackles for loss. Actually, Brian wrote about this for the site today. Again, Jordan's like D-Law. He plays the left side. He doesn't do a lot of rotating, but they moved him to the right side to play Fleming because Lyle Collins was giving him fits. So he had a great day, but I like that matchup a lot better this time around.
But he doesn't move this time.
Probably not, if I had to guess. Demario Davis, I was going to say that Demario Davis had 11 tackles. I don't remember if it was like a good 11 tackles or a bad 11 tackles.
I mean, the final score does suggest that obviously both defenses played extremely well last time.
One thing I noticed, and again, mobile quarterback, play action, I would like to think Dallas can take advantage of this. I was not impressed by Kiko, and then they got another linebacker when they play base by the name of A.J. Klein, who did not wow me. Like, I found he seemed like he was out of position a lot. There were a couple.
Where'd he go to school?
I don't know off the top of my head. Sorry.
Actually, have it here. A.J. Klein, Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Wow. There's Buckeyes all over this matchup.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. Iowa State.
Okay.
Iowa State, seven years in the league.
Couple of plays where they bit bad on play fakes. I mean,
which against this team and this offense, what we've seen so far.
And I don't mean like hesitation. I mean like, taking 2 or 3 steps in the wrong direction. They did it. They lost Will Dissly, the tight end. They let him pick up 30 yards on a play action fake. And again, kind of what I'm talking about, they lose their guys because I believe A.J. Klein was covering Tyler Lockett. It was incomplete, but not because of the coverage. So that's something that intrigues me. I think Kellen Moore should be able to get these guys out of sorts. Like, the chunk plays should be there, even if the run game is only okay.
Giving up 27 points in all 3 games they've played so far this year, it seems like they're able to win these shootout-type games. Do you think Dallas is suited to play that kind of game and to be able to beat them at that? Because they've won 2 of those 3 games, even giving up 27 points. Do you think that matches or is favorable for the Cowboys to get into that kind of game?
Yeah, I mean, they've scored 33 points a game. So, yeah, I think so. I mean, but one thing that we don't know yet, it's still week 3. I mean, I don't know if the Saints aren't a better football team than the Cowboys. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but they're 2-1. Look at their schedule. I mean, look who they've played so far. They've played the Rams. They've played the Saints. I'm sorry, they played the Texans. They've played the Rams, and then they've played the Seahawks. And so
3 good teams.
Yeah, three good teams. And when their schedule came out, I was like, this is going to be tough. I mean, can you imagine if the Cowboys had played those 3 teams and Cooper Rush had to play a game and a half.
Yeah.
That's honestly, it's kind of the opposite. Is like, if you follow the narratives, it's like the Cowboys have to make hay here because they're playing these bad teams, and then it gets hard. Well, once the Saints get through with this game, it kind of lets up for them because after this they go Buccaneers, Jags, Bears are tough, but then the Cardinals on the other side of that. So like 3 pretty winnable games out of 4.
Yeah.
So that it is. I mean, they don't look anywhere near as good as the Cowboys, but their resume certainly looks better right now.
They win this game, then if it comes down to tiebreakers, then they would obviously have one. They'd both be 3-1, and they'd have one on Dallas if it gets to that point. So, it's still early, but we don't really know just yet. I mean, to be 2-1 in that schedule and having Breeze miss that game, a game and a half, I think that's actually pretty remarkable.
I'm really, really interested to see what Kellen Moore is going to be able to do in this game as far as being creative, because right now, you have Michael Gallup out, and we saw how that affected not having him in the offense. Then I've seen, breaking down plays with Brian, what Lattimore can do going up against Amari Cooper. Like, that guy has really good instincts, and he's able to follow the receiver and move. Like, there is no trick in him a lot. Like, as soon as you try to do like a quick turn, he's gonna turn with you. So I'm interested. I'm expecting the Cowboys to run the ball a lot more and lean more on Zeke this time around, because I just don't think we're gonna see the same kind of passing game that they've been having as an offense. But
see, I like to go. What I'm saying is, what I saw on tape is, I think, and like I said, I wish Gallup was playing, but like you think back to the Giants game where there were just easy throws for Dak because of the way they were confusing the Giants. Like, I think that we can see that again. Like, I would expect Kellen Moore can dial up ways to do that, because the secondary just doesn't. They seem confused and not very good. And like I said, I think their run defense is better than the stats would show. And so I would rather try to pass to open that up than vice versa.
Hearing all of that, it kind of makes me think that this defense is, at least the way they've played so far, is similar to the Redskins defense. The Redskins defense has a pretty stout front, and they're the type of defense that, at least this year, their secondary has been kind of in shambles and not really playing great. Now, obviously, they don't have Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore. But all that being said, I think it's a similar type setup, and the Cowboys were able to move the ball pretty effectively against that defense, both in the run and the pass game. I don't think that it certainly didn't stop them. Early in the game, there were some challenges, but once they got going, they got rolling.
Yeah.
It goes back down to creativity. What Kellen Moore is able to do with all those weapons. And maybe if Tavon is back into the mix, how is he going to use him? He's a guy that, yes, he's been injured so much and all that, but still, having him on the field affects what they're doing, because they know that this guy can freaking run and he's fast. So that's another guy that they have to keep an eye on.
This is going to obviously be a bigger challenge than the first 3 games. But the Saints defense isn't as statistically as good as like the Redskins. But if they can at least, maybe they don't score 31, 35, but they should be able to hit the mid to high 20s. Like, that would be my expectation, even on the road.
At least.
I think this is a Dak running game. I think this is one where he needs to they need to call some plays for him to run the ball. That's the one thing that'll open up that middle there for Zeke and even for in the passing game is to get him out there on the edge and let him, whether it be some bootlegs, nakeds, whatever, let him do that. Because I really think that that's what's going to set this up. We didn't see it much last week, but I think Dak can really hurt some teams, especially the aggressive ones, if they dial up some runs.
I think that's a good point, but I think more than anything else, what's going to be most important is don't have the turnovers and the special teams, big plays. Yeah. Because I think last week, without those, I think that's a different ballgame. Sure. I think Seattle probably wins that game.
So minus those 2 plays, and it's not like the defense gave them short fields, like literally a punt return touchdown and a fumble 6.
Yeah.
So that's 14 out of 33. Why can't I do basic math? That's so 19 right. Offensive points.
Right. And so I think that, again, if you talk about the Cowboys and their ability to score on teams so far, if that offense can get rolling and just don't make the critical mistakes on special teams or on defense that give up points, I think that's really the key this week. I think, we still haven't seen Bridgewater in a situation where he's got to go out and with his arm basically win a game that's a shootout. I would think that's kind of what, if I'm the Cowboys, what I would like to see.
So you
happen.
expect Dak to win that kind of battle in that situation?
I do. What I've seen so far this year suggests to me, and the reason why I say that is because I think
he's good under pressure. That's where somehow the light comes on and he's able to get the job done when he's really under pressure.
Right. And the thing about shootouts, when you watch them, typically what happens is they sometimes can start off a little slow, but once they start rolling and teams start scoring, then they keep scoring. And that's the one thing we've seen about this team all season. When they get rolling, once they figure it out, once they figure out what the defense is doing, they seem to just be like touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. So I think in that kind of scenario, if the Cowboys get into a shootout, I think it sets up really nicely for them. And I'm not certain, again, that's not to say Bridgewater can't do it. We just haven't seen him do it yet. So if I'm the Cowboys, that's kind of the way I kind of hope this thing plays out.
All right, here's a just putting you on the spot. What's the best environment where Dak has ever absolutely balled out?
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to answer that question.
Yeah. All right.
We'll do that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com
Your new
radio.
apartment's big. Such a great deal.
It's okay.
Just okay? What's not too...
It's right above the subway.
Well, I bet you don't even notice it after the...
That's my neighbor, Angus.
A deal that's just okay is not okay. Get a great deal with America's Best Network. Come into an AT&T store and learn how to buy one smartphone and get a second one on us. Based on GWS 1 score, September 2018.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox? The makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crock pot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True. They even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to the break.
Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Nick, what you got for us?
Just a second. Let me pull. Forgot. Oh, actually, I do want to talk about. We've talked about free to play. Are we going to play free to play?
Yes, actually, what we are doing, we are setting up, and this is going to be in the app starting next week, I think. But we're setting up. They're calling it a celebrity league.
Oh.
Now, they use that term very loosely because it's going to include all of us. But we're going to actually set up and we're going to be playing along so people can see how they rate relative to us. Now, we can't win the money, but we will. I will throw some little prizes out there for our group for the person that wins every week.
Okay. Well, I'll just talk about that then. I don't think Dave knew he was playing free to play.
Yeah, he did because Brian was talking about it this morning.
I thought it was suggested that we play.
Yeah. You got to be older than 21.
Highly suggested by me, your boss.
So
what do you think?
So I'm playing.
Damn.
All right, good. Perfect.
All right. But
He pulled the bus car on you.
just-
The
you
bus.
guys check out free to play though because you could get $10,000 in grand prize.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out on DallasCowboys.com/app. If you don't have the app, you need it because it's easy to get our stuff.
All our stuff.
All our stuff.
All right.
Mostly.
Dave, right before the break, you had an interesting question you wanted to pose to the group.
I'm just spitballing. I'm curious, what is the best environment where Dak has gone on the road and really, shut up like a
Tell me what
raucous
you're talking
crowd?
about. Are you talking about the best game he's had on the road in a really hostile environment.
Yeah. Okay. He balled out against the Giants last year. Big whoop. That was a bad team, and MetLife was full of Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
FedEx was full of Cowboys fans a couple weeks ago. Like, that ain't hostile. And I'm not saying he's never done it. I went and looked during the break. He played a great game at the Link last year against Philly. 26 of 36, 270 and a touchdown. Ran for a touchdown despite getting sacked 4 times. So that's awesome. And then the obvious one is as a rookie against Pittsburgh. He had a fantastic game at Heinz Field.
That was such a fun game.
That was
such a fun
top 3 that I've ever covered for this team.
That was such a fun game.
He balled out at Lambeau actually as a rookie too. But really, so he's had great games on the road. Don't get me wrong, but like when I'm like what we're gonna see on Sunday night, I think the Philly game is the most recently that he's done it, because Week 17 at MetLife against a really bad Giants team just isn't the same as what the Superdome's going to be.
Why don't we just
like.
break it down indoors? What has he done there? Because the thing I can think of is the Colts.
Every home game. You mean the road?
Yeah,
road home.
Road
yeah,
when they're not liking them.
Did not play well against the Colts.
Falcons
played well.
Okay.
Actually,
Vikings.
He was terrible against the Vikings.
His rookie year?
His rookie year, yeah. He didn't. I mean, all right, terrible's a stretch, but I think he threw for like 168 or something like that. He was fine against the Falcons last year. 22 of 32 for 208.
End up winning.
Drove him down the field.
Yeah, no, they won.
Yeah.
But so that I get my point is like, if I expect him to capitalize the way I think he can on this defense, this secondary, it will be a little bit unusual. Like, he hasn't had that many of those like really amazing games in these types of environments.
No offense to them, those other teams and those day games, but that's not like what he's going to face Sunday night against the Saints. The energy in the Dome at night, especially with the fact that there will be Cowboy fans there, but the Cowboys are good. The Saints, very protective of their home turf. It will be a really awesome atmosphere, and nothing like a noon game at Atlanta, Detroit, Indianapolis. No offense to them, but
my dear friend John Machota, he's so good at like just pulling up random stuff that everybody forgot about. Because you remember All or Nothing when they filmed it in 2017 when they played Denver. He posted a clip of Jason Garrett like, yeah, the crowd's going to be crazy. You know how you shut up the crowd? You hand the ball to number 21 right there and blow their ass off the line, which they lost that game very badly. Like, they got annihilated.
Talk about bad memories. That's one of the worst.
The story, the strategy is the same. Play well, execute, especially early, and you can calm that atmosphere down a little bit.
David, wasn't that the game where Dak had like 50 pass attempts?
Denver?
I think it was.
Yeah, no. They were getting murdered, and Zeke couldn't run the ball.
They couldn't do anything.
8 yards, 9 carries, something like that.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Dak definitely. I don't have the box score in front of me.
It was like 30 for 50.
He threw a lot of passes in that
I
game.
honestly don't know if I've seen the Cowboys get manhandled in Dak's era quite like that. I mean, that was a bad game against the Colts last year. You can say it was pretty bad most of the game against the Rams last year. Neither one of them. They got manhandled like they did against 30. Like that was
it was like in all areas.
Yeah,
basically.
they could do nothing.
30 of 50 for 238, which is less than 5 yards per attempt, and Dak was the team's leading rusher. Like, yeah, that was a brutalizing like we are not used to seeing in the recent Jason Garrett era. Yep. Maybe the other one that comes to mind is in the Superdome in 2013. That was up there.
Well, people start talking about the altitude.
Yeah.
Over there and all that.
There was a weather delay for like an hour. It was like,
Let's stay focused, people.
All right, so I had a question for you guys from Art Vandelay. He said, hard to nitpick.
That's a Seinfeld reference.
I know
Sorry.
that.
Okay.
I know. It's
Sorry.
just,
all right, go ahead.
But anyway, that's the thing about Twitter.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
Hard to nitpick the offense, but thoughts on Zeke only having 5 receptions. You guys think he's being underutilized in the passing game?
Okay, just when they, not to sound like Troy Aikman here, but like before they get to, when they get less than 31 points in a game, let's talk about that. No, it's a pick your poison. They haven't had to do that. They haven't had to. They're running the ball. They're doing well. They're throwing it down the field. They haven't had to really throw screens and stuff like that. They haven't done that just yet because they're able to do what they want to do. But they will. I don't think it's a nitpick. I just think it's something that just hasn't needed to be there just yet. But they're doing it this way, and
what I love is we know that works. We know that throwing those screen passes to Zeke works. They've seen it. I love that Kellen has given himself the chance to try other things first. You know, he keeps talking about, yes, I have more things on my game plan and things under my sleeve, and he does. Like, there's no need to do all that with Zeke when you have all these other elements. Now, maybe this is the one game that we do start seeing those kinds of things when you start talking about what's happening with not having Michael Gallup in the offense, and maybe if they take Amari Cooper out a little bit from the game, you know, as far as defense goes. So I think that's a good thing that we haven't necessarily needed to see that.
Yeah. I'd like him to be more involved, but I mean, it's hard to nitpick what they're doing at this point.
And he even said that in his tweet. He was like, "I'm not nitpicking." It's, you know.
I'd like Randall Cobb to be more involved for that matter.
Yeah.
And without Michael Gallup, maybe that's something that you could see here. I mean, if these linebackers are undisciplined, maybe Zeke can take advantage of that in a variety of different ways. I mean, 5 through 3 games, so he's on pace for less than 30. Yeah, I'd like to see him be a little more active in the passing game, but I'm not losing sleep about it right now.
And honestly, my hope is that all of these kinds of wrinkles, that would be, using him in the passing game, maybe using Pollard a little bit more in the passing game, maybe using more jet sweeps with Pollard. I'm hoping some of that stuff is stuff that they have saved, they haven't had to use, and because they haven't had to use it, it comes up in some of these games where you may need a little more variety. You may need to throw something at teams that they haven't seen on film just yet. Again, that's one of the things, and if you go back and you listen carefully to what was being said after that first game, Kellen Moore talked about the fact that he even said there were some things that we didn't have to go to that we can save for a little later. And that, to me, I think that's the value of a good offensive coordinator, is somebody that has so many tricks in their bag that they don't necessarily have to pull them all out at one time. And as the season goes on, which is a long season, you'll find opportunities to be able to do some things that you haven't put on film before in games, in critical moments in games when you really need them. Real quick before we end the show, I wanted to get some opinions from you guys on the Thursday night game tonight. You got Packers versus Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you think wins that game?
I don't think that the Eagles lose it. I know that I'm saying the Eagles will win, but I just don't feel like they're going to lose and go to 1-3. I just don't. I think that would be too beneficial for the Cowboys for that to happen.
Work like that, right?
And I don't know if the Packers. We'll see. I mean, they're 3-0, and it's tough to win there. But I feel like this is the type of game. As soon as you think you kind of know, both those two teams, something like this would happen. I just think the Eagles are too talented to go 1-3. I know that they're already 1-2. But as I said yesterday, they're very easily 3-0 and 0-3. They're just playing right there. I think they win tonight.
I go back and forth because I agree with everything he just said. It's so silly to try to write the Eagles off 3 weeks into the season. Alshon Jeffrey's going to be back this week. Deshaun Jackson might be back.
Really? I thought he was definitely out.
He might be, honestly. I'm too busy trying to keep up with what's going on with the Cowboys. At least one of them's coming back.
One of them's back, yes.
Maybe two, but at least one. Yeah. At the same time, I said this on the break, it's during the break. Sorry. It's hard to go on the road on Thursday night and win. It's tough. It's not a lot of rest time. You got to travel. It's a hostile environment. Pretty good quarterback and defense on the other side. I still think the Eagles are good, but I think the Packers are going to win.
Amber?
I think the Eagles. I'm going to go with everything exactly that Nick mentioned, and I just think that I just don't see it happening to where now it creates this good lead within the division, between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Yeah. It always happens where it's just kind of right there in that battle. I just don't see them falling that far behind from the Cowboys.
The Eagles could fall to 1-3 and still the race isn't over.
Yeah, of course.
Especially playing them twice. I mean, that's the easiest way to jump back in is beat them.
Quite frankly, I actually expect that the Packers win tonight, and I expect that what's going to happen is Philly's going to find a point this season where they're going to get their footing and they're going to start winning some games. Yeah. And it's going to be interesting. This is not going to be one of those things where the Eagles are completely out of it. Even if the Cowboys win the division handily, which I still would question whether that would happen, I still think Philly's going to be right there in position to be in a wild card, and don't think you might not face them in the playoffs. They're one of those teams that just kind of keep coming.
Well,
right?
they traded away their best quarterback in Foles.
Wow.
And the guy that's really helped them turn things around.
Okay, so if the Eagles lose, what happens with the Cowboys? They win this game?
Hey, that's tomorrow. tomorrow.
I was about to say, don't give away my Friday show.
I'm just saying, like, I do have a thing for statistics and how things look on scoreboard, and I just don't see it happening.
But every year we do this where we try to write the storylines before Halloween. I mean, we fired everybody and said bye to the playoffs last year in week 8, let alone week 4.
That's what we do.
You can only react to what you've seen.
Yeah,
I get that, but if the Eagles could fall to 1-4, forget 1-3, and I'd be like, they still have talent.
Got a run in
they still got
a run in them.
We'll see.
All right, guys, appreciate you joining us. We're back tomorrow, 11:30. Till then, 11:45. Sorry. Till then, Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, Amber Garcia. I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?